His name is Ronnie McIntosh. It is a Sunday morning. It is Panorama semi-final Sunday. Ronnie McIntosh, a very good morning to you, my brother. How are you?
I'm good. Pleasant morning. Bishop.
My brother, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Nothing,
good to see you.
Rent and taxes and the usual thing. I understand you were out performing last night. It was a great night last night.
Yes, yeah. We had a nice all-inclusive in South called Denim and White.
Denim and White.
Yeah, nice, 400-500 people. Nice, nice settings.
Ronnie,
nice ambiance.
Ronnie McIntosh. I can't start talking about Ronnie unless I talk about his wife. So let me say a very good morning to your wife. Go ahead. You better do that, otherwise you'll be in trouble.
Well, I said morning to her for the morning already, but she left in a hurry, heading down to the mass campaign just to...
Man, she's been working so hard for so long. But we talk about her in a minute.
Of course.
In a minute. Ronnie McIntosh, soca performer extraordinaire, ambassador too, because he's been all across the world carrying the sound of soca. Ronnie, I want to go back to Daddy just for a quick moment, just to give our listeners a little backdrop here. When you talk about people like Rash Shorty, you talk about Shadow, you talk about Kitchener, you talk about Sparrow, you talk about the man who many argue was involved in the early riffs for that soca music.
Definitely.
You're talking about Daddy, the professor.
The first professor actually.
The first, right?
At the Koto, yeah. We came up.
Nothing, Mr. Fillmore. He just said the first one.
Yeah, I had to say that. But Ken is my boy too.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but I came up with him and all the tens, all the Calypso tens, from CDC days, CDC 10. I started at the age of seven. As playing percussion in the Calypso tens. So I've been to all the Calypso tens in terms of playing percussion, except the OYB, which was the original
Young Brigade Birdie's tent, right?
Yeah, he said too much smut down there. Yeah.
But let's see if we can get this right now. The professor he's talking about is Arthur Koto.
Definitely.
Now, you don't talk about Calypso music and its development without talking about the professor Arthur Koto. All right, so you started early in the tents. You were hanging around. Of course, Daddy made sure that you were inside of there, and it took you a long time before you actually teamed up with a band, because you were just hanging around for a couple of years, right?
Yeah,
Tell us about that.
I did the tent scene for a while, and then back in the day, of course, Ray Sylvester, who's another
Ray Sylvester,
yes. and Adi Koto tied, and then Ray's son was also Ronnie. So it was Ronnie Sylvester, Ray Sylvester, Ronnie McIntosh. Yeah, so we roll in, and then one of those nights, Ronnie said to me, "Why don't you come and check Carl Jacobs?" Because back in the day, of course, on the road, on the truck, it's live percussion.
That's right.
Laptop.
Right, you were still doing your percussion.
Yeah.
Carl and Carol were, along with Imam Shan, a couple of these people were with this band.
Yeah, man. Ansel Ford. Yeah, man.
Yes, Ansel Ford too.
Chandelier.
Yes,
Yeah, so
that's right.
I checked Carl Jacobs up at Tranquility Tennis Court. Yeah, while they preparing the truck and all that for Monday and Tuesday.
Yes.
I went to Carl. I said, Ronnie told me to check here because, of course, they normally hire extra hands.
Yes.
For the road. So he said, okay, we'll use that as son, man. No problem. That same time now, I was back in Scrunter in the Savannah with the Will and Licky thing.
Right.
So I had the dress rehearsal now up at the Savannah, so I went and take care of that. And then came on the truck Monday and Tuesday, and Carl Jacob and those people was impressed.
Yes.
Really impressed. And they made me permanent somewhere in September of that year.
No, you were permanent inside of there as a musician, as a percussionist. But then Carl and Carol, together with a couple of other people, decided that they wanted to move on to different things. The band was short of a vocalist. Now you were a percussionist, and I'm looking through your information here and going like, no part of this that I see professor teaching this young man how to sing. So how did you get
Well, basically, when you're being taught stuff unintentionally, because back in the day, all the Calypsonians would gather at our home. The late Maestro, all those. So while he's tutoring them,
while they would line up, mind you, waiting to see the professor.
Long line. But I was listening. I was paying attention. All the things on, how to sing, how to this, how to phrase. Diction was very important to him. And all that information was going inside of me that I wasn't even aware. So as the percussionist now, I was singing along while the band playing and Carly and I'm singing. I singing along.
Okay. So you were getting your OJT on the job training, definitely, as it were.
Yeah.
So Carl and Carol moved out, and whose idea was it to ask you to do vocals, or did you go and ask for an opportunity?
Well, basically, what happened then, when after Carl and they left, we decided, because Carl was focusing on let's play local music only and that kind of stuff. But I said, okay, after he left, I said, well, let's do some hip hop now, let's do some little reggae, a little Judgment Time now. Them days you pumping same way, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And so we try a little Lovers Holiday, a little Judgment Time. So I would come forward now and do them little hip hop and them kind of stuff, and then go back in my zone with percussion. But then one night, one of the vocalists couldn't make it, Curtis Jackson, and we had a show in Farrell House, Claxton Bay. And I just offered, I said, okay, well, Spring Garden by Ras Iley, Winston So-So, the thing ain't working.
Yes,
I told the guys, I said, I'll sing those songs, man, don't panic. Because it was because we have one shot.
And you knew the lyrics and everything already.
Yeah, I sing along, man. I sing along. As a matter of fact, those days now, when whatever songs we were doing, I would get the lyrics and that kind of stuff. So the lyrics in the system. Gotcha. So I came forward and I, performed Spring Garden. Yes, you understand?
Yeah.
And the then manager, Cliff Harris,
right.
who I saw him in the crowd with his hands in the air, excited. And after that, he said, listen, man, that was good. And I think you should be permanent to the front. Yeah. But then there was a list now. He asked for a meeting this Sunday around the Savannah by Raul Garib, Mass Camp. He said, I need to speak to you. And then he gave me a long list of do's and don'ts. And you have to protect your throat and you cannot drink cold stuff. And I say, I don't think, but those days I pumping, man.
Yes.
These don'ts, then something like it suited me. My life, I grew a certain way, I operate a certain way.
Yeah, the admiration of the crowd, as long as you get it, you're happy.
You understand, So I tried the don'ts, I tried the don'ts for about 2 weeks. Yeah, I went back to me, man.
And then you went like, these don't work for me.
Yeah, I was hiding, I had to hide. I was hiding.
I want to go back to 1988, idiot, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ronnie McIntosh is my guest here this morning. We're going to get across and talk about Caro. We got to talk about the Queen. We got to talk about his mass band because that's one of the areas where he diversified and showed that Calypsonians can not only be intelligent performing, but intelligent businessmen too. Ronnie McIntosh and Chandelier back in the day, 11:13 in the morning. It's called As Long As I Get It. You go ahead, tell him, Ronnie. And it is that same fearless young man. Fearless will play an important part in years later on. We talk about that in a minute. That same fearless young man is the gentleman we have with us at that time. He was not shy. He was known as the cool dude. And I wonder, early with that that coat you had and stuff, was Caro responsible for that?
Well, no, as a matter of fact, Caro wasn't present then.
Wasn't even present then?
No. That's happened by accident. A friend of mine was throwing out some stuff, and I said, "Hey, I like that coat. Let me try that." Because back in the day, you're coming up against David Rudder, Chris Tambo, Hobart, and it's all about being original. You had to do something, and I was basically fearless then. I was willing to try anything then. So I had this black hat. The black hat belonged to one of the technicians in the band. One night I just took it off his head. I said, "Lend me a hat now." You know what I mean? I go on with that, and then I came the trench coat. It was a khaki one. And then a friend of mine up in Belmont, he said, "I'll paint a picture of yourself on the back of it." It didn't look nothing like me, but that was it. And then of course every night now we had to watch. My mom would wash it, iron it, because them days you have gigs Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
that's right.
Yeah, man, and then
this was the cool man. This was the ladies' man. You understand? So the whole way that thing came about is almost like Colin Lucas. Take a borrow.
You understand?
So you borrowed a hat. You got the old coat, and somebody painted something on the back of it.
And that was it, man.
And that was it.
And then we went on the colors now. Hey, let's make. My mom is a seamstress, so she said, hey, let's make a black one. And then Caro was present then. And then
this is coming home because your mom was a seamstress, and Caro, I know, is heavily into this designing thing. Is that where that thing kind of came together?
Well, the whole, both families now is mass Carnival oriented. Okay. Because my mom, of course, used to hold my hands and to go to the Calypso tent every night while because I have school the next morning, so she would accompany me. And then Caro and her mom was involved in the Minchell days back in the day. Yeah, my mom used to also sew for Stephen Leong and Edmund Hart and all these things. So both families coming together was very easy.
Now that's interesting because we've just made the merger there, and I'm going to pursue and continue into that. Like I said, it's part of our thrust this morning. And keep in mind that whole question of fearless. It's going to come back in 2017. But at the time, you were performing in different places, and you were seeing the uncertainty of the profession, which is to say that folks become popular today, the money is used up. Before they know it, they don't have any. Before they know it, they're not popular this year, so what came last year does not come this year. And you decided this is too much up and down in my lifestyle. You were taking some of your money and doing what?
Well, what we must diversify, and of course, even from home with my dad, I saw it happen to him. When he passed. The insurance was, the lapse and everything was in a mess. And I've seen other Calypsonians back in the day, you know, it's a seasonal situation, you know.
That's right.
And then they got caught up in other things too, you know what I mean? But I say I am not going to make that mistake, and I use my dad as a reference.
Now, these clothing shops that you opened, because you opened a couple of them, but before that, was Caro involved in this time when you were doing that diversification?
Oh, definitely.
Well, you see, guys, the reason I'm doing this, if you wonder why I keep pulling Caro in here, because behind every great man, there's a greater woman. So, so all right. So you were performing all over the place, and you decided that you're not going to stay to the changing fortunes of the entertainment. And you tried to put both together. How were you able to manage that? And did that have any impact in your decision to pull away from the entertainment at some point right after the business started flourishing?
Definitely, because Caro was the head, and still is the head of all operations,
And
even today.
And I have my wife's permission to say I'm the boss.
Definitely, you understand? But, you know, so that clothing store situation now, her mom was involved in that back in the day. Even with the coup, they lost, you know, they had stores in Time Plaza and all kind of stuff, so they lost a lot in them times. So that whole, I just was looking for another direction, because it is compulsory. You have to move. So, you know, Caro said, hey, let's do this. And we move on, you know, 10 stores, 12 stores. And of course, you know, the retail, you know, got difficult after a while. So, cut back on that. In came the mass band. Keep moving.
All right, so give me that transition now. The transition out of the clothing stores into the mass bands is because you had the clothing stores going on while she was doing some work?
Oh, definitely. Well, what happened now?
In the mass area, I mean?
Yes, definitely. Well, Ronnie and Caro, Ronnie McIntosh performed with Barbarossa back in the day. Caro, of course, will be in the band jumping up on the streets, right? But what she would normally do, she will spend an additional $300-400 to adjust hers, so she would look different. And of course, the second year, all her friends say, well, fix mines too.
You look too good.
Yeah. So basically, I would have like Caro and her 15-20 friends in Barbarossa looking totally different. And then we say, okay, that 2015, 25 people, that's a section. Let's go. And we branched off now when we started bringing sections in Masquerade. So we did 2 years Masquerade, 2 years Legacy, and then keep moving. Caro don't sleep.
Well, that's evident, and the mass you brought out was always that the sections you had before you got into your own band, they were always easy to move about with, and that is the enjoyment of Carnival itself.
Definitely, Carnival has transformed to the experience. When there's no more short stories, all these stories have already been told.
I've heard many times that a success story is the culmination of many years of hard work. Because
Definitely.
Last year you were able to emerge champion band. Before we do that, however, you were able to get on the road. What year was that?
On the road was 1995, man.
1995. Hello. I'm hearing a little bit. It sounds like a little bit of Super Blue kind of moving in. Is Super in this?
The song was composed by Austin Super Blue Lion. You understand?
You just can't. You would go into parties everywhere, and that's why he said Ent was the biggest one, right? I mentioned this one could have been because it's not a place you could have gone, whether in Trinidad and Tobago, in the Caribbean, or in the United States. You could not have got any place in Brooklyn and didn't hear some DJ looping it just like this. Listen. And everybody would just jam right there, just like that. Yes. Yeah, I know. Ronnie McIntosh is my guest here this morning. 24 minutes after 11 o'clock. Oh, by the way, just to have you know, listeners, I just heard from the Congresswoman Yvette Clarke in the United States. She's in a meeting there with the Democratic caucus. May not be able to get out of that meeting on time, but if she's able to, we will be looking at that situation with the ICE folks raiding a number of places. They report 12. It is reported to us it is way more than 12, and over 1,000 people have been arrested, swept up to be deported. Of course, during Obama's time, the question was to hold those who are criminally inclined or those who have committed crimes, so articulated to Donald Trump, but it is Donald Trump. And it is understood that the ICE people not only picked up those who have criminal or minor offenses, but they went after people with no offenses. We'll get down to that once we get the Congresswoman. Yeah,
that guy.
But Ronnie McIntosh is where we are in the land of soca and calypso, the mecca of Carnival, Trinidad and Tobago. We're talking about his wonderful wife, Caro. We're talking about his exceptional career. We're talking about his rich heritage through his father, Professor at the Koto. Ronnie McIntosh, let me get back to you. You say On the Road was not the biggest song, and in fact was. Tell us about that.
Well, On the Road was the first soca monarch. I won the soca monarch in '95. So yes, that was a big one. But N came along in 1997, and the street vibes. Carnival is color, Carnival is mad.
Yes.
And I composed that one too. You know, what I mean, I did that one. So, but N was the dance. So N was the lyrical content was nice. It was basically social commentary, as people said, because I had some politics inside there too. I mixed it up nice, and then of course,
good.
Yeah, and then now we introduced the dance.
Because that's the art of it, guys. I'm getting back to the band in 1 second, because that is the art of it, being able to put together a composition that is political commentary or satire or comedy, have really good music with horns, with some brass and stuff, some melody and stuff, and when you put that all together, it comes together into perfect brew.
Yeah, man.
All right. One of the things I think that you are clearly a beneficiary of is the dexterity, the versatility of your father, because no 1 year resembles the next year in the direction that you take, and that is something it seems as though we are into a cookie cutting industry where all the music essentially sounds the same way. There's the absence of brass. There's the absence of some melody. Voices are used to overdub and create instrumentals. It's amazing. Are you encouraged now? I'll ask you this as an entertainer, because you have seen it do a lot of changes, go through a lot of incarnations. Is this something that folks should not be making a judgment on, because the art is ever evolving and you'll get different ups and down years creatively, sorry. Or is it a case that we're looking at that folks have become lazy and leave all the work of the imagination to machines?
I think we're hoping, I think we're guessing. There's no direction. So guys are just out there, and people not paying attention. The request for artists traveling abroad and that kind of stuff is the percentage is very low.
Very important.
Yeah,
yes.
The artists also there's a high unemployment rate, because they have over 700 songs out right now.
Let me pause you right there, because that's one of the reasons when we speak in the terms of the music and we speak in terms of exporting and capturing the world, and that is why we have analysis oftentimes on the culture. Some folks say you shouldn't judge the culture. Well, it's not a case of judging it. It's given an opinion, because Ronnie is quite right. When Ronnie McIntosh and a lot of those who went before him put together a song, and during his time, when they put together a song, the rest of the world wanted to hear it, because they could relate to the musicality and sometimes the general feel of the lyrics, even though it is party. It was not my hands tired, wave, wave, wave.
And they also wanted to see the artist.
And they wanted to see the artist,
because
right?
There was a live element.
And the live element also included the way you dress when you went on stage. You look like a performer.
You have to. You can't look like somebody who's in the audience.
But a lot of our fellas are not being employed right now, and you're quite right, because it is missing that. Continue your point, please. I'm sorry.
And of course, the entertainers, the people spend a lot of money to come to see you. And then there's the live element is missing, because most of the artists now, they perform on tracks, so they have to sing exactly what was done in the studio. Yes. So you know, and it's crazy. As I said, on a weekend now is just a couple artists working, and the rest is about 80% unemployment.
I have seen you perform before, and I saw David Rudder perform, and in the middle of what is the song everybody knows, in the middle of that, you'll just decide to improvise. A little improv inside of it. Now, you can't improv anymore, because you better stay with those tracks. Otherwise, you'll be embarrassed.
We're hearing the same thing on the radio.
Yes, that's
and when you come to the Fed, then
nothing new.
They put their foot on the monitor, and they pose, because it's all about them. But it's all about the people. People pay $800, whatever they pay, they buy outfit, come to see you, do something, you know what I mean? And also, as I said, the unemployment is really, really, really high.
Yes, and it will continue that way if the music is, if the lyrical content, if the music is directed to one specific period, one specific celebration, it is not going to have that crossover.
And here it comes again, the season. So we are trying to fit 700 and how much songs into 6 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, we did arithmetic in school, and they tell you 10 into 22, you know what I mean? 20 into 10 cannot. So basically 750 how much songs into 6 weeks.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to work. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse.
Ronnie McIntosh, we talking about Ronnie, we talking about his wife, Caro. Now let's go back to the band, because I did tell you, keep in mind, Fearless was the issue. Well, last year, 2016, what is it you won? You won Band of the Year for Carnival from the NCC. You also won the Downtown Band of the Year title. That was a double.
That was the double, yeah.
Right.
And when that's the large category. Because we started off in medium, and we won the medium category since we started 2008-9 coming up the road, and then they changed the numbers in terms of the category. So large band was basically medium was under 1,000. So we were in the 800 zone.
Okay.
And for some reason they changed it to 600. So from 601 in large, so we were automatically up in large. And we did a little. We came third, we came second to Brian McFarlane, and then we caught it last year.
That is in 7 years' time, from 2008, 2009, right?
Yeah.
So in about a years' time, you've been able to ascend all the way up to the champion. Carnival band. What has been the secret ingredient here? Because it is one thing to bring mass, most everybody can do that. There is something that is a battle that you go with. One is you try to hold on to the historical kind of connections with it, at the same time put the artistry in the costumes, at the same time make it light and and easy for folks to walk with. Definitely. I was about to have a Freudian slip and say dental floss, but no, I took that back. So you have to make it easy for them to move with. You have to make it colorful, and you have to hold on to some semblance of the history of the genesis of Carnival as we know it. Speak to that.
And Caro, as I said, she's in charge of that whole operation, that whole designing situation is Caro. Basically, we try to keep it simple. We're not going back to no encyclopedia. We're not doing instead of Googling. We try to keep it local because, as I said, Carnival has transformed. There are all these stories about the African and the Amerindian. All these stories have already been told. So, but Caro still try, if we play the golf, she will still try to put some fabric inside here and try to create some waves and that kind of thing. But very, very simple because it's all about service. The whole mass situation now is all about the experience.
I'm very intrigued by Caro's whole history on this because, this idea of running to Samaru's and running to the store here and there and picking up the things and making her costumes stand out inside of a regular batch. That's a great thing. Another thing is staying close with a soca star. That's what you are. That's what you were at the time when you met, and still being able to keep you grounded is a great compliment to that lady.
Oh, definitely. We've been around for quite a while, and in any situation you have your backward and forward because we do fight a lot because we're in business together. So you find beside any drama in the house we talk about from a business point there will be certain directions that she will want to go and I may have a different view and we deal with it and it has been working and in a mass situation we're on the same page where customer service is concerned, and that's one of the things that has brought Ronnie and Caro, the mass band, to this level, customer service.
Roughly translated, he gets his way once in every 10 times.
Yeah, once in every 10 years.
That's the way it works. Let's talk about Fearless. This year, you decided that you bring in Fearless. What was the thought process behind that?
Celebrating 10 years in the mass as a band, because we're 14 years bringing mass, but it's 10 years. Basically, the first year, 2008, the accounts was in a mess basically. The expenditure, the bed was leaning one-sided. So based on the fact that we won that year, because Caro basically after the first year she was not really too excited to go back again based on the end result financially. Okay. So but we came and we won the medium band title. So that sort of lightened things a bit. So we really approached the mass situation very, very fearless. And so we went ahead and we moved from there. So this 2017, we celebrating 10 years in the business and we call it Fearless 10. Of course, the concept there is every year, like 2008, 2009, whatever was the presentation for that year, we'll call this section that. So we have 9 sections from 9 years ago and 1 section called Fearless.
Let's just go and get a bit of Fearless, just a bit of Ronnie.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit of Ronnie here this morning. Hey guys, where is my Fearless? Come on, let's go here. That voice you hear is that of Ronnie McIntosh. Fearless, and I quickly add humble, man. I tell you, for all the years you have not been, fortunately, affected by the stardom that you have achieved. No, is that a consequence of being around Daddy for a long time and seeing how things come in and move, or is it just your own spirit? What is it?
Well, basically, it's all about knowing that what you do is basically providing a customer service. You providing a service, you're an entertainer. So I some people have it the other way, the reverse. There's I'm the star. But people depend on you, for entertainment. They have a hard working week, Monday to Friday, and when they come to the feds, all they want is some proper entertainment. It's a job. That job is not about you. It's just the job. People follow you or they like you because of what the service you provide.
Man, and you've been providing a good service, and you've been a good ambassador for Trinidad and Tobago. You continue to be.
I'm also a fan of Projection 3.
Hey, thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Just talk about briefly. I looked at your costumes, man. Your sections, and about 5 of them I saw already sold out.
Oh yeah, things go quite nice. No, there's no recession with Ronnie and Caro. There's no drama. There's no Donald Trump. There's no masquerader who's scared to return.
Hello.
Yeah.
And a big portion of your band comes from the United States.
Oh, definitely, and the percentage is increasing.
Well, that is good to hear.
Yeah.
Ronnie, my brother, it is good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop.
I
it's
am
a pleasure.
also a fan.
Good, all right.
All right, so it's fair to say we are members of the Mutual Admiration Society.
Definitely, man.
All right,
man. Pleasure.
You and the wife and all your band members have yourself a great carnival. And your band for today is your steel band. You're backing today is.
Oh, I'm Despers. I'm Despers.
Yeah, I left my crew for the end.
I'm Despers. Up the hill. Up
the hill, I tell you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ronnie, take care, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot,
Take care, man. Thank you.
Pleasure.